Seeing is believing. It's a common saying in North Korea, but it holds some truth. There are numerous recognized rationales why touring North Korea might not be advisable. But let's examine the primary motivations for traveling to the reclusive nation. After watching this video, you won't need any more information about North Korea, despite the plethora of documentaries and content available on YouTube. It's easy to overlook the fact that North Korea is a vibrant operational country with a population of 23 million individuals. They lead their lives in similar fashion to us, engaging in work, experiencing love, and tending to their families just like any other people. The nation is worth exploring for the sake of these individuals alone. A visit to North Korea isn't an endorsement of the regime. Rather, it's an expression of support for interpersonal connections, cultural enrichment, and involvement. The North Koreans encourage your visit to witness the country firsthand, moving beyond the sensationalized headlines. It offers more than just military parades, distinctive hairstyles, and discussions of nuclear armaments. While there are limitations on what you can observe, they are not as stringent as you might assume. One of the most commonly searched questions regarding Korean tourism is whether you can travel from Seoul to North Korea, and the answer is quite clear. The Korean peninsula has been split into two since the conclusion of World War II, with the north supported by the Soviets and the south by the Americans. Since then, the divide between the two sides has only widened. Unfortunately, there has never been a time when unrestricted travel between the two was permitted. The border or demarcation line consists of a 4-kilometer buffer zone, stretching 250 km from coast to coast, making it the most impassable border in the world. How to travel North Korea via China? While some may argue that visiting the DMZ and stepping foot into North Korea counts, we firmly disagree. Arranging a day tour of the DMZ from Seoul simply offers a glimpse into North Korea. During most day tours, visitors are allowed to enter one of the blue huts that straddle the border, so technically, one could claim to have visited. However, if you genuinely wish to experience North Korea, you'll need to join a group tour via China. This is easily achievable from Seoul, with numerous flights departing daily for northeast China. You could fly to Dalian, Shenyang, or Yanji, all close to the North Korean border, or commence your tour in Beijing. From any of these locations, simply board a fast train to the border city of Dandong to rendezvous with your tour group. From there, it's a scenic train journey to Pyongyang, marking the start of an unforgettable adventure. First impressions of North Korea. Openness with photography. One of the misconceptions often associated with North Korea is the perceived strictness regarding photography. Much of the information available online depicts the country as entirely closed off. This raises questions about whether bringing a camera into the country is even permitted, a question that frequently arises. In reality, visitors are generally free to capture thousands of photos of almost anything they wish, within reasonable limits. Of course, certain areas are off limits, including military personnel, checkpoints, and construction sites. The latter poses an issue because all construction in North Korea is carried out by the army. Additionally, cameras are not typically checked upon departure from the country. North Korea is teeming with breathtaking scenery. Approximately 80% of its territory is enveloped in mountains, complemented by expansive stretches of beaches and national parks. Unfortunately, this picturesque aspect of the country often remains underreported. Instead, what often comes to mind are images of dull concrete structures, rocket launches, and soldiers marching in formation. Contrary to what you see in the documentaries, your guides are incredibly warm and welcoming. They go out of their way to make you feel at home, and by the end of the trip, the bond is strong. When it comes to people on the street, if you manage to break down the language barrier, then locals are also eager to chat. Whether on the train, in a public park, or in a bowling alley, North Koreans are a shy but curious lot. There's a plethora of activities available, and they're not limited to the capital city. Every year, an increasing number of towns and cities across the country are becoming accessible to foreigners. Visitors can explore every corner of the nation, from Kaesong on the DMZ to Rason on the Russian border. North Korea is a significantly overlooked destination, to the extent that many individuals are unaware that visiting is even an option. However, we're here to inform you that it is indeed possible to visit. We have a solid grasp of what you should see and experience during your visit. Here's our guide to the top 7 activities to partake in while in North Korea. The many sights of Pyongyang. The Mansudae Grand Monument. The Grand People's Study House. Kim Il-sung Square. The Pyongyang Metro. The Arch of Triumph. Mayday Stadium. The foreign language bookstore and the wealth of fantastic restaurants. You won't be surprised to hear that all tours to North Korea will, of course, include Pyongyang. Mount Myeohyang and the International Friendship Exhibition. A trip worth it just for the stunning mountain scenery of Mount Myeohyang. The region also boasts the singular International Friendship Exhibition, wherein you'll find a cornucopia of gifts offered to the 2 elder Kims during their tenures as leaders of North Korea. Mount Kumgang. Some of the DPRK's most spectacular natural scenery can be found at this wondrous mountain in the east of the country. The region boasts the breathtaking Kuryong Falls, best visited in the autumn to make the most of its psychedelic and variegated treescape. Wonsan. Think North Korea and you're probably not thinking of a happening beach scene. That's where you'd be wrong. The East Coast resort of Wonsan boasts beautiful beaches, delectable seafood, and a whole host of locals hanging out and soaking up the sun, essential for a summertime trip to the country. The Rason SEZ, North Korea's sole special economic zone. Rason is similar to Hong Kong and China. Rason is the only place where capitalism is allowed in North Korea. Here you'll be able to open a bank account, spend North Korean won in the local markets, and even gamble in a casino. The DMZ. No visit to North Korea would be complete without getting the North's perspective on the world's most tense border. Luckily, Panmunjom is only around 3 hours from Pyongyang and is absolutely worth the trip. After your guided tour, wherein your guide will be a genuine KPA soldier, you'll be able to get a photo with your guide. The only place in the country you can get a picture with a soldier. Sariwon. A traditional North Korean city. That is a common stopping-off point for tourists on their way to the DMZ. In Sariwon, you'll be able to hike to the top of a hill overlooking Folklore Street. Dress up in traditional Korean clothes. Try the unique fermented rice drink of makgeolli. Wondering what to bring souvenirs from North Korea? North Korean souvenirs. North Korea has quite the unique selection of souvenirs to choose from. The majority of it things that you will never have heard or seen before. There's a major disconnect between what the shops offer and what the tourists typically want. There's also a big difference between what Chinese tourists are after and what Western tourists are looking for. In any tourist shop, the shelves will usually be stocked with the local liquor, soju, cigarettes, Korean stamp collections, wooden and ceramic ornaments. For those not in the know, ginseng is a highly sought-after plant root, used for medicinal purposes. It is especially popular amongst the Chinese visitors as the root has all but become extinct in China due to demand. Western visitors, on the other hand, are typically after more common tourist fare, such as fridge magnets, posters, and t-shirts. Whilst these can be got, they can be quite hard to find sometimes as only a handful of shops stock them. Your tour leader will inform you when we arrive at a particular shop that specializes in posters or postcards, etc. While ginseng may attract the Chinese tourists, North Korean propaganda posters are by far the biggest draw. Amongst the Western crowd, these hand-painted, unique, and eye-catching pieces are primarily sold at the DMZ in Panmunjom. Other larger and more premium pieces of North Korean art can be bought from the famous Mansudi Art Studios. Propaganda poster. Not a tour goes by where we don't pick up 3 or 4 of these handcrafted beauties. Buy them at the DMZ souvenir store. Flags, pins, books. These make a great cheap and small gift for someone back home. Pick them up at the foreign language bookshop, Kim Il-sung Square. Soju, nothing beats the local rice wine. Can be bought everywhere. Postcards, stamps. Send a propaganda postcard to anywhere in the world. Huge collection at the stamp shop in Kaesong. Made in the DPRK goods at Kwangbok Supermarket. Pick up anything in Pyongyang's best department store. You can even change your money in local North Korean won. Keep an eye out especially for made in the North Korea watches and bags. North Korean suit, measure up for your very own tailor-made North Korean style suit. Available from the Yanggakdo Hotel. After viewing all of this, you may still have a few lingering questions on your mind. Let's seek out the answers together. Is North Korea safe? A journey to North Korea is incredibly safe, despite any hearsay you may encounter. As long as you adhere to the guidelines outlined in pre-tour information, you'll be warmly welcomed in North Korea. Even during periods of heightened tension, tourism remains unaffected and operates as usual. However, it's crucial to understand that they enforce what can be considered extremely strict lèse-majesté laws. In the event of violating these laws, the consequences can be severe. Am I free to wander? No. On any trip to North Korea, you must be accompanied by a guide at all times. But this kind of adds to the mysticism of the country. During your stay in any hotel, feel free to explore around the hotel and to invite your Korean guides for a drink or karaoke. If you see a place outside you'd like to visit, you can ask your Rocky Road guide. Or if you're traveling as an independent tourist, you may ask your Korean guides. But please understand, if the answer is no, it can't be done. Does traveling to North Korea restrict my travel to other countries? Definitely not. Traveling to North Korea doesn't restrict you from any future travel to other countries, especially to South Korea. What currency should I bring to North Korea? Euro or Chinese yuan are the best currencies. Personally, we recommend RMB as it is much easier to get change for. In some areas, USD are preferred, especially on the East Coast. Prices are usually set in euros and RMB. Credit cards, including American Express, PayPal, Alipay, are not accepted in the DPRK. Nor are there ATMs available, so it's best to bring more than you'll need just in case. Further, getting change can sometimes be difficult, so we recommend bringing small denominations. If you are exchanging money before your trip in your home country, request small denominations. Can I take my phone, laptop, or GoPro? These devices are completely fine to bring into North Korea. As a tourist, you are unable to purchase a local SIM card, but you are able to make international phone calls or send emails out from certain hotels around the country. Satellite phones are illegal to bring inside North Korea. If you like the documentary, please consider subscribing for upcoming insights.